Hey everyone, I'm back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Hope that you had an amazing week and welcome back for those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment for the very first time. Welcome for those of you who are joining and join every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome back. And I'm Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. For those of you who were here last week, we talked about really starting a mental health detox. Hopefully, you started it. For those of you, and hi, thank you for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Last week, we talked about starting a mental health detox. Hopefully, you started it. I know many of you had such great ideas of things to add in for your detox or things to take out of your life to make your lives better. And thank you for those who are still continuing to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. So if you missed last week, which was about starting your mental health detox, then you can always head over to YouTube and see all of the previous mental health moments. And hi, good evening to you from Seattle, Washington. Welcome. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And again, just reminding you, you can go on to YouTube and find any previous Facebook Lives that you may have missed, talking about mental health detox last week. And thanks for tuning in. Good evening to you as well. Thanks for tuning back in from San Francisco. Hopefully, things are a bit better. Hopefully, in California, I know with the wildfires and all those sort of situations, it's been a little crazy. But hopefully things are well with you. Good evening from Mississippi. Welcome. And Columbia, South Carolina, California, Ohio. Welcome and thanks so much for joining. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And for today, I want to talk to you all about how to really continue to have a positive mental health lifestyle. Because it's one thing, again, like we talked about last week, about starting a mental health detox. And when you think about detox, again, usually you're thinking about something for your body. But even a diet or a detox and those types of things, we tend to think that it's a one-time event. But when it comes to your mental health, it should not be a one-time event. Because if anything from this year has taught you, there are so many possibilities that life will throw at you. And when you have a positive mental health lifestyle, not just something you're going to do today or tomorrow or next week, then it really prepares you to deal with all that life has throwing at you. And good evening from Ohio, Philadelphia. Welcome. Augusta, welcome. Trinidad and Tobago's in the house. Jacksonville, first time listening in. Welcome to Mental Health Moment. And Albany, New York. Welcome, welcome. So here's what I'm going to do tonight. So, or for those of you may be on a different side of the world here, so maybe good morning for you. But what I want you to think about, I'm going to give you 3 questions for you to think about because everyone is different. Mental health, living a positive mental health lifestyle looks different. There should be some similarities, but it really looks different depending on who you are for your life. For those of you who are always joining, I always say, do what works best for you. It is about your sanity and your mental health. It may not be something that someone else agrees with, provided it's moral and legal. I'm good with whatever you decide. Okay. So here's a couple of things for you to think about. The first thing that I want you to think about is, what do you need for motivation and inspiration in your life? So for you, again, question number 1 for you to think about is, what do you really need for motivation, for inspiration, for what uplifts you? Because again, that answer is going to be very different depending on who you are. So really think about that. And whatever answer that is, on a constant basis, you should be adding that into your life. So This is my first time joining you. I need this. I'm in Chicago, Illinois. Welcome, welcome. And also Mount Vernon, New York. Washington, D.C. is here. Guyana, Houston, Texas, Tampa, Florida. That's where I'm located. Welcome. So thanks you all for starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here for your mental health moment for those of you just tuning in. So three questions for today for you to think about. One is, what is it that brings you motivation, inspiration, uplifts you? What is that for you? I can give you 300 things that may be helpful, but you would have to choose for you what works. So, as many of you that know me and are on here every week here, you know that I love quotes. I subscribe to so many positive Instagram accounts and social media accounts because I want that and I need that for my sanity in my feed. So the positivity surrounding myself with positive people. I read a ton of self-help books and podcasts and all sorts of things to really stay uplifted because it can be difficult, especially this year, right? So those are just some of the examples for me. I go to the gym or work out and those types of things to keep me uplifted and keep me happy and sane with a lot of stress that's often thrown our way in life. So, again, what is it for you? And hopefully, maybe some of you, I know some of you take notes and jot it down, but just think about a couple of things of what brings you motivation, inspiration, and uplifts you. Because, again, today, for those of you just joining, we're really talking about how to live a positive mental health lifestyle. And I'm a huge fan, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of taking a mental health day and the mental health detox that we talked about last week, all of those things that you probably heard on social media. But what I really hope for you is that this becomes a lifestyle for you because that's when that's when things change for you in your life. And again, not the circumstances. There's so much that we can't control, but what you can control is your reaction to it and how it affects you. That you have control over. So that's the first question. Greensboro, North Carolina is in house. Thank you. What brings you motivation, inspiration? Yes, thank you for typing that out there in the comments. So the second question that I want you to think about is, how often will you commit to a mental health detox, let's say, or a mental health day? A lot of people are, that's a new buzz term in the last couple of years. Taking a mental health day, a self-care day, a mental detox, whatever label you want to put on it. How often for you can you commit to that? And I say the word commit because, again, it's hard to change sometimes, frankly. It's really hard to change, but it is doable once you start to make that commitment. And once you really start to see, man, I really need to be taking care of myself, right? And you really start to put those things in place. And I think I've told many of you before, but years and years ago, before I even personally really made a commitment to self care, I was running myself ragged. It was completely crazy. Just totally needed more self care in my life. But again, just making a commitment that has to be the priority, especially because making this a priority for you doesn't just affect you, it affects those around you in your life, your coworkers or your family or your friends or whomever. It affects more people than just you. For you to bring the best version of who you are into this world. So again, how often can you commit to having this mental health detox or mental health day or self-care time? And good evening to you also from Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining. Good evening to you as well. And it's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. For those of you, again, who may have missed last week when we talked in detail about how to do a mental health detox, then again, you can go to YouTube and look for Dr. Hammond or look for BWE Mental Health Moment, and you'll find it on there. And that's sort of the part one to this. This is a part two of really making sure to maintain that so that, again, this becomes a lifestyle for you. I think for me, it's other people that give me that, but yours seem to be something that has nothing to do with anyone but yourself, to give it to yourself. You know what? And you know what? It's in there. So there is no right or wrong to this. I just want to let you all know this. Unfortunately, in society, these questions that I'm asking you, if you ask the next person and the next person and your whomever, your friends, your family, your coworkers, they're probably going to have different answers. And there's not a right or wrong. It has to be what works for you. There are things that people may laugh at you, be like, I can't believe you do that for self care. If it works for you, it's all good, right? Or there are people that would never do what you do for self care, taking care of yourself, whatever uplifts you, motivates you. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It matters. It matters most how you are doing. So please make sure that you're aware of that. Listening to you listen to you uplifts me. Okay. How often will you commit to mental health detox? Yes. Thank you for typing that. And welcome from Edgefield, South Carolina. Good evening to you as well. Good evening to you also. For those of you joining here, it's Dr. Hammond here talking about really how to live a positive mental health lifestyle. So again, 3 questions for you to start to think about. The first one, for those of you tuning in just now, is what do you need for motivation, for inspiration, to be uplifted in your life? What do you need to add in, right? Or maybe it's already there. Maybe you already have it, but you need to do that particular thing. Spend time around that particular person that uplifts you and that supports you. Or if it's something in the spiritual realm, physical realm, emotional, whatever it is for you that works. Especially, I'm a huge fan, like I said, of social media. Very, very important. Positive social media. Very important. The second question to ask yourself is how often you can commit to having some sort of mental health detox. And again, remember, this comes in many different forms, or mental health day, or mental health hour, frankly, or whatever amount of time that you can have for yourself. I was just reading this article today, actually, that said there's something, I don't know if you've heard the term, but there's something called doom scrolling. It's doom, like D as in dog, OOM as in Mary, doom scrolling. And basically, what it is, and it totally makes sense to me, honestly, as a psychologist, but is when you spend so much time on social media sometimes scrolling through, where you become so depressed, or you become so anxious, or you become so angry, and it can really start to affect your mental health, right? So I know there's a lot of people that think social media is horrible, social media is wonderful, or anything in between. It is about, though, what you are tuning into. So again, when you think about a mental health detox, or when you think about self-care time or mental health day, for some people, they completely unplug from social media. So if that works for you, you do that. If you need to say, though, there's certain feeds that you don't need to be looking at or taking a break from, then do that as well. So those are just some examples, because again, experts are saying that, well, it's very mixed, but some experts are saying that so much negative social media sometimes can be really detrimental to your mental health. And for those of you who may be scrolling through, especially late at night, right before you go to sleep, of a lot of negativity on your phones or tablets or whatever it is that you're tuning into, keep in mind that that can also affect your sleep. A lot of people have trouble sleeping because of all the negativity that's kind of pouring in right before they go to bed. So think about things like that, again, when you think about how often you're going to commit to really, again, mental health detox, or the mental health day, or some sort of self-care, because it's really, really important. Um, and welcome, and thanks for those who are still starting to tune in here. So again, 3 questions today for you, really to be asking yourself on a frequent basis. So the third question I would say that's really, really important is, are you, or if you ask yourself, am I checking in with myself? So the third question is, am I checking in with myself? And let me tell you what that means. It means that, especially stereotypically, but especially for women, women tend to check in on everybody else. Not that it's not important. Please check in on people. We did a whole mental health moment a while back about that. Very important to check in on people. I'm a huge advocate for that. But also be checking in with yourself, meaning how, like, where is your battery life at? Like, how are you doing? Are you so physically drained? Are you so mentally drained? Are you so overwhelmed? Or are you good? Like, are you okay today? And some of the ways you can check in with yourself is through breathing. For example, how is your breathing? So I'm a huge fan of yoga. For example, that's something for me that's a self care, and we learn a lot about deep breathing, right? And how are you breathing? Are you tending to hold your breath? Are you breathing really fast? Are you just taking a minute to take deep breaths? That's one minor thing you can do to check in with yourself. Check in with your breathing. The other thing is to ask yourself, what is your energy level like? Because if every day you wake up and provided you get enough sleep and you're exhausted all day long, either or maybe it's both, either there's something physical going on with you, or emotionally you are just so drained from whatever it is that's happening in your life that is just zapping your energy. So I would highly recommend, I mean, if this is on a constant that you're worrying about energy levels, you might want to check in with your physician to make sure there's nothing physical. But if it's not anything physical, then you need to be asking yourself, okay, again, going back to the other questions, what is it that I need to do to change this about me? Because you deserve to have positive energy. And again, I don't expect you to be the Energizer Bunny every day. I'm not saying that. But again, when you day by day by day, you shouldn't be having just lethargic energy and tired all the time. And those are symptoms, could be, of depression or anxiety and those sorts of things. So it's really critical for you to be checking in with yourself. How is your energy? What is it that boosts your energy? We talk a lot about on previous mental health moments, but just as a reminder, little things have been proven to boost your energy. And I'm not talking about energy drinks, but I'm talking about things around you, lighting a candle, listening to music, taking some deep breaths, doing something small that takes a short amount of time that makes you happy. So again, if you're checking in with yourself and you're like, man, I'm constantly tired, you again, this is really, really important to do, to see again if physically you need to take care of yourself or emotionally something's happening. And hi from Texas. And hi, welcome. I love all the heart emojis and the sunflowers. Thank you, thank you. Welcome. So again, the other part of the third question, am I checking in with myself often, is to think about, do you need a break? Do you need some sort of mental break? Because your your brain, if it goes into complete overwhelm, if you're just so overwhelmed and you don't take a break, your brain and your body will take the break for you. And I think you know what I'm talking about. What happens sometimes is when maybe you're the opposite and you're not lethargic, but you're just on the go, 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 and you don't take a break and you're not checking in with yourself, something's going to shut down. So either your body is going to get to the point where you pass out and you're exhausted, or your mind is going to get to the point where you can't concentrate and get anything done because your mind is like, I need a break, right? So that's why it's so important, again, for this third question, for you to be checking in with yourself first. Do I need a break? What do I need? Do I need more water in my life? Do I need more sleep? Do I need more exercise? Do I need more connections with my friends? Again, just checking in. What do you need to really move forward? And yes, do you need a break? Yes, and give yourself permission for that break too. And I can't tell you how long the break needs to be, because that really is different depending on your situation, what you're going through, uh, what you're dealing with. But for you what you need best and what's reasonable too, right? I mean, maybe all of us after this year need like a 1 month break from this amount of stress this year, but really just again, what is reasonable within normal limits to give yourself a short break during the day if that's something you need. So again, I'm telling you these tips because I really hope for you that changing your lifestyle for the better and to have positive mental health, you will see it's a different it's a different world, and it really helps to be in a better mindset when things like coronavirus and just the grief that has happened this year, losing so many people. I mean, prominent people or celebrities. I mean, it takes a toll. You don't even have to know the person. It's all in the news. It's constantly in our social media feeds. It's just heavy grief. Or again, like I said, dealing with COVID-19, dealing with what has happened, dealing with racial tensions, dealing with racial trauma. The list goes on and on. It's been a lot, and and your personal life. But again, living a healthy mental health lifestyle is going to be really, really important to help you deal with those sort of things that are really coming at you. Um, so for those of you just tuning in here, we talked about today 3 questions for you to ask yourself. So I'm going to just run it back for you really quick for those of you tuning in a little later. But the first question is, what do you need in your life for motivation, for inspiration, to stay uplifted? The second question to ask yourself is, how often can you commit to self-care, to a mental health detox, to to really taking care of yourself? How often can you commit to that? And then the third thing is, am I checking in with myself often? It's something really important. I personally check in with myself on a daily basis. But again, like I mentioned, I've done yoga for so many years that it just teaches you how to breathe and how to really check in with yourself. So that's something I do on a daily, is just checking in, even if it's a quick minute. Like, okay, how am I breathing? Am I doing okay? Like, or calm it down, or whatever it is. Trying to shift. You don't always have to be in a place of happiness, but it's about shifting and trying to have the inner peace and shifting to being in a place of calm, and being in a place where you can just be okay for that moment. Or if you're not okay, being okay with not being okay, if that makes sense, because that's a part of healing too. But again, it's important for you to check in with yourself. Um, I've never heard of a mental health detox. Sounds interesting. Yeah. So for those of you who are tuning in a little bit later, I told you at the beginning, but feel free to go on YouTube if you missed last week, which was how to start a mental health detox. You can look up the BWE Mental Health Moment with Dr. Hammond and find the mental health detox one, which goes into a little bit more detail and some suggestions for that. But it's awesome. I would highly recommend it. I'm a little biased as a psychologist, but highly recommend the mental health detox. Prayer and meditation with God daily. Limit time with people who drain my mental and physical strength. Creativity and love myself first. I love that answer. I love that. And that's so important. That's so important. Again, it varies for everyone. But I like what you had to say on a daily basis. That's my wish for all of you, that on a daily basis you would check in with yourself. But again, even if it's once a week, to implement some sort of self care, checking in with yourself. How are you doing? How are you functioning? What do you need? Because again, in society, we're so on the go sometimes, and you're checking in with everybody else. We're checking in on social media, what everybody else is doing, but not necessarily with yourself, which is really, really important. So thanks for sharing that. If you all, oops, let me put that in here. If you all need me at any time before next Tuesday, you can reach me at drnekeshiahammond.com with any of your questions, with any of your comments, and I'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page. Thank you all for tuning in. Your homework this week is definitely going to be thinking about those 3 questions. Answer them for yourself. Answer them honestly. You don't have to, if you want to share with other people, you can't. But even just for yourself, answer those questions. What can you commit to? And really start that journey. It's a journey, but it's going to feel really good when you get to a positive mental health place and stay there throughout your life, and just really work on taking care of you, and allowing yourself to receive whatever it is that you need to help with the journey on life in life. So you're absolutely welcome, and I will see you all next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, y'all.